The Grand River watershed is the largest inland river system in South Ontario, stretching almost 300 kilometers from its headwaters near Dundalk all the way down to Lake Erie. Covering more than 7,000 square kilometers, it winds through farmland, forests, wetlands, and growing cities, connecting communities from Waterloo to Brantford, Kitchener, Cambridge, and beyond. This territory is most closely associated with the Six Nations Haudenosaunee Confederacy, which include the Mohawk, Cayuga, Onondaga, Oneida, Seneca, and Tuscarora. The Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation have deep ties to the Grand River watershed as well, as the land was originally part of their territory before the Haldimand Proclamation in 1784. I recognize the Six Nations of the Grand River and the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation as the traditional stewards of this watershed. Grand River watershed is not just a river, it's a lifeline. Over 1 million people depend on it for drinking water, with nearly half drawing from groundwater aquifers linked to the river system. The watershed's wetlands and forests act like natural sponges, soaking up rain and snowmelt, filtering water, and slowly releasing it back into the river. This process keeps the water clean and helps recharge underground aquifers that supply wells and municipal water systems. Ecologically, the Grand River supports a wide variety of habitats. Its floodplains, wetlands, and forests are home to hundreds of bird species, including many that are threatened or endangered. The river itself sustains fish, amphibians, and countless aquatic invertebrates, making it a biodiversity hotspot in southern Ontario. The watershed plays a crucial role in moderating floods and droughts. Healthy wetlands absorb excess water during storms, reducing flood risk for nearby towns, while releasing stored water in dry periods to keep the river flowing. In short, the Grand River watershed is far more than a body of water. It's a connected system that provides clean drinking water, supports wildlife, and sustains both people and nature. Protecting it means protecting the foundation of life for the region. The red-headed woodpecker is one of the most striking birds in the Grand River watershed. About the size of a robin, it has a bold crimson head, snowy white belly, and glossy black wings with white patches that flash in flight. Its sharp call and undulating flight pattern make it easy to spot. You'll find this woodpecker thriving in open woodlands, old orchards, and along rivers where tall dead trees provide nesting cavities. Unlike most woodpeckers, it's a true acrobat, catching insects in midair, storing food in tree crevices, and eating fruit and seeds. Spreading these seeds and controlling insect populations, this bird plays an important role in keeping the ecosystem balanced. Unfortunately, the red-headed woodpecker population has decreased dramatically over the past century. Habitat loss is the biggest culprit. Dead trees, which they need for nesting and food storage, are often cut down in urban areas and along riverbanks. Pesticides also reduce their insect food supply. Conservation efforts are helping. The species is listed as threatened in Ontario, which means its habitat is legally protected. Landowners and conservation groups are leaving snags, standing dead trees, in place to give the birds nesting sites. Bird-friendly yards with fruiting trees can also provide important food. The red-headed woodpecker is a reminder that even small changes in how we manage our land can help a colorful and charismatic bird survive in the Grand River watershed. The tufted titmouse is a small, lively bird with a gray back, white belly, and a distinctive little crest on its head. Its large dark eyes and clear whistle, often sounding like Peter, 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 make it a cheerful presence in the woods. This species is more common in the United States, but in recent years it has been gradually moving north and is now found in parts of southern Ontario, including areas along the Grand River. They live in deciduous forests and wooded suburbs, often visiting feeders for seeds and suet. Agile and curious, titmice are known for grabbing one seed at a time, flying off to crack it open and returning for more. Their importance lies in controlling insect populations and dispersing seeds, helping forest regeneration. They nest in cavities, but since they can't excavate their own holes, they rely on old woodpecker nests or nest boxes provided by people. The biggest challenge for tufted titmice is habitat loss and the decline of standing dead trees, which means fewer natural nesting sites. Severe winters can also limit how far north they expand. Conservation groups encourage people to leave snags standing and to install nest boxes, which have proven very successful. Bird feeders also provide an extra boost in cold months. Their steady northward movement shows how adaptable they are and how human actions can either help or hinder their survival here. The tufted titmouse reminds us that sometimes conservation is as simple as creating space for a small but spirited bird to thrive. The barn owl is one of the most hauntingly beautiful birds in the Grand River region. With its heart-shaped face, dark eyes, and ghostly silent flight, it's often called the farmer's friend. That's because a single barn owl's family can eat thousands of mice and rats in a season, providing natural pest control. Barn owls nest in hollow trees, old barns, and church steeples. They prefer open grasslands, marshes, and river valleys where prey is plentiful. Once common, their eerie calls were often heard at night across Ontario's countryside. But today, barn owls are one of the rarest breeding birds in this province. Habitat loss has been devastating. Wetlands drained, grasslands plowed, and barns renovated or torn down. Cold winters in Ontario also make survival challenging. As a result, barn owls are listed as endangered. Conservation groups are working to change that. Nest boxes installed in barns and on tall poles have been successful in parts of North America. Protecting grasslands and wetlands along rivers like the Grand is also essential. Farmers who manage their land with wildlife in mind can make a big difference. The barn owl's presence tells us that healthy farmland and natural spaces can coexist. Protecting this mysterious night hunter helps preserve not just a species, but also the balance of rural ecosystems. The cerulean warbler is a tiny jewel of a bird with the male's sky blue plumage shimmering among the treetops in spring. The female is softer in color, with touches of yellow and blue-green. Their buzzy rising song gives them away high in the canopy of mature deciduous forests. This warbler breeds in large unbroken tracts of hardwood forest, especially near rivers. In the Grand River watershed, they are often found in tall floodplain forests. They feed on insects gleaned from leaves and twigs, playing a role in keeping forest insect populations in check. Sadly, the cerulean warbler is one of the fastest declining songbirds in North America. Its biggest threat is habitat loss. Both here, where the forests have been fragmented by agriculture and development, and in South America, where they winter in the Andes. Small patches of forest simply don't provide enough room for them to nest successfully. The species is listed as threatened in Canada, and conservation efforts focus on protecting and restoring large connected forests along river valleys. Birders also play a role by reporting sightings to help scientists track populations. The cerulean warbler's delicate presence reminds us how vital large intact forests are, not just for the birds, but for biodiversity as a whole. The yellow-breasted chat is a bit of a mystery bird, part warbler, part trickster. It's the largest of the warblers, but unlike most, it skulks in dense thickets, showing off a brilliant yellow chest, white spectacles, and a harsh, varied song that can sound like whistles, cackles, and even chuckles. In the Grand River watershed, chats prefer shrubby areas near streams, wetlands, and regenerating fields, habitats that have become increasingly rare. They are masters of concealment, more heard than seen. The main threat to the yellow-breasted chat is habitat loss. Shrubby areas are often cleared for development, turned into farmland, or grow into closed canopy forest. Without these carry successional habitats, chats have fewer places to nest and feed. Listed as threatened in Ontario, the chat benefits from habitat management projects that maintain these thickets along rivers and grasslands. Letting fields grow wild or creating buffer zones along waterways provide the cover chats need. Protecting these overlooked spaces helps this secretive bird thrive. Henslow sparrow is a small, secretive bird with a flat head, olive brown tones, and a simple insect-like song that sounds like a short. While not showy, it's one of North America's rarest grassland birds and has been recorded in parts of southern Ontario, including along the Grand River watershed. This sparrow depends on tall, dense grasslands with little disturbance. Unlike many birds, it avoids shrubs and prefers large open meadows where it can nest on the ground, well hidden in thick vegetation. Unfortunately, these habitats are amongst the most endangered in North America. Most tall grass prairies have been plowed under for agriculture or lost to development. Because Henslow's sparrow is so specialized, it has declined sharply and is now considered endangered in Ontario. Conservation efforts include protecting and restoring tall grass prairies, managing fields with controlled burns or mowing to maintain habitat, and setting aside conservation lands. In the Grand River region, even small patches of prairie can make a difference if they are connected to a larger grassland. Though easily overlooked, Henslow's sparrow symbolizes the importance of protecting native grasslands. Saving this special bird also saves an entire ecosystem that countless other species depend on. The Canada warbler is sometimes called the necklaced warbler for the dark chain of markings across its bright yellow chest. Males sing a rapid musical warble that fills the spring woods, a welcome sound after long winters. This species nests in damp, mixed forests with dense understory, often near streams and wetlands. In the Grand River area, they are found in shaded ravines and thickets where insects are plentiful. By feeding on flying insects, they help control pest populations. Canada warblers face serious challenges. In their South American wintering grounds, forests are being cleared at an alarming rate. Here in Ontario, wetland loss and forest fragmentation reduce breeding habitat. Populations have dropped by more than 70% over the past few decades, and the species is now listed as threatened in Canada. Conservation efforts focus on protecting forests and wetlands, both locally and internationally. Citizen science programs like eBird and breeding bird surveys provide crucial data on where these warblers still occur. The Canada warbler, with its vivid colors and bubbling song, is a reminder of the connections between continents. Protecting it means caring for forests from the Grand River to the Andes. The least bittern is North America's smallest heron, about the size of a robin, but stretched out with long legs and neck. With chestnut and buff plumage, it blends perfectly into cattails. Often the only clue to its presence is its low coo 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 calling echoing across the wetlands. This bird depends on large, healthy marshes with cattails and bulrushes, where it builds a nest platform above the water. It hunts by clinging to reeds and stretching its body, stabbing at small fish, frogs, and insects. The least bittern is threatened mainly by wetland loss. Across southern Ontario, marshes have been drained for farming or development. Pollution and invasive plants like phragmites also reduce suitable habitat. As wetlands disappear, so does this secretive bird. Conservation is possible by protecting and restoring wetlands along the Grand River. Programs that control invasive species and maintain water levels are also important. Birders and conservation groups monitor populations to ensure wetlands remain viable nesting spaces. The least bittern shows us the hidden treasures of wetlands, ecosystems that filter our water, prevent flooding, and support incredible biodiversity. Saving this tiny heron means saving the marshes themselves. The Prothonotary warbler is a brilliant splash of gold in Ontario's forests. Males are bright yellow with blue-gray wings, appearing almost tropical. Their ringing sweet, sweet, sweet song carries through swampy woods in spring. This warbler is unique among its family because it nests in cavities, often old woodpecker holes in flooded forests and swampy wetlands. Along the Grand River, it can be found in wooded marshes and oxbows, where it feeds on insects and occasionally small aquatic creatures. The biggest threat to the Prothonotary warbler is habitat loss. Swamp forests and wooded wetlands are rare and shrinking. drained for agriculture, or lost to development. Nest competition with house wrens and starlings also pose a challenge. The species is listed as endangered in Canada, with only a few dozen pairs nesting in Ontario each year. Conservation efforts include putting up nest boxes in suitable swampy habitats, protecting wetlands, and monitoring breeding pairs. These efforts have had some success, but the bird's population remains small. The prothonotary warbler is a reminder that even the rarest species can inspire hope and action. Protection of this bird helps safeguard some of the most unique wetland habitats in the Grand River watershed. The peregrine falcon is the fastest animal on Earth, capable of diving at over 300 kilometers per hour. Sleek and powerful, with a dark helmet on its head and barred chest, it's a master hunter, catching pigeons and other birds mid-air with astonishing skill. Historically, peregrines nested on cliffs, but in cities along the Grand River, they've adapted to tall buildings and bridges. These urban sites mimic natural cliffs and provide abundant prey like pigeons and starlings. Peregrines were once nearly wiped out due to pesticide use. Pesticides like DDT, which thinned their eggshells and caused massive population crashes. By the 1970s, they were gone from much of eastern North America. But thanks to a ban on DDT and dedicated reintroduction programs, the species has made an incredible comeback. Today, peregrines nest again in southern Ontario, including around the Grand River watershed. They are still listed as a species of special concern, and ongoing monitoring ensures populations remain stable. Nest boxes on tall buildings and bridges have helped tremendously. The peregrine falcon's story is one of the greatest conservation successes of our time. It shows how science, policy, and community action can bring a species back from the brink and restore a thrilling predator to our skies. As we've seen through each of these remarkable birds, one theme arises above all others. Habitat loss is the single greatest threat to their survival. Forests are cleared, and in our climate crisis, lost to wildfires, wetlands are drained, grasslands converted, leaving less and less space for the species that depend on them. While each bird faces unique challenges, from the least bittern in our swampy marshes to the bright prothonotary warbler in damp woods, the underlying cause of their decline is the same: the disappearance and fragmentation of the places they call home. The good news is that this is a challenge we can do something about. Protecting and restoring natural habitats along the Grand River watershed not only helps endangered birds, but also strengthen entire ecosystems that provide us with clean water, flood protection, and natural beauty. By supporting conservation efforts, preserving wild spaces, and making bird-friendly choices in our communities, we can ensure that these voices remain part of our landscape. The future of these species depends on the decisions we make today. If we protect their habitats, we protect not only the birds, but also the health and resilience of our own environment for generations to come.